The Nexus 5 is the newest member in the Nexus line of devices. Google teamed up with LG once again to make the Nexus 5. Opposed to the Nexus 4, Google and LG switched the glass back out with a plastic back, which gives the device a bit more sturdiness. The glass back on the Nexus 4 caused many heartbreak in form of a shattered screen, but the new design tries to alleviate this problem. But does that come at a cost of premium feel, and how does it stack up against the other OEMs' flagship? Hi, my name is Michael and this is Crowd Review, and this is my review of the Nexus 5. A bit late to the party, but here it is. The Nexus 5 may technically be based off the LG G2, but the look and feel are very different. The Nexus 5 come packaged in a rather understated design and will probably mainly stay unnoticed if left on a table. There are a few minor details that stands out though. The phone's round earpiece speaker is a nice little touch, especially on the red or white version, which is bright red or white on an otherwise black phone face. I only have the black version though, so this is the version that I'll be going forward with. On the back of the phone you find a Nexus branding and a small LG branding in embossed glossy plastic, which sits sunken into the soft touch matte black plastic. The choice to have a plastic back as opposed to a glass back will for many be a welcome change. The glass back made the Nexus 4 feel premium, but the stories about broken glass are many. So does the plastic bag and the lightweight of the Nexus 5 make it feel cheap? Well, the short answer is no. The soft touch feels fantastic, and with the glossy branding and camera lens it looks good to boot. The build quality seems sturdy enough and there's absolutely no creaking when twisting the device. On the right side you'll find the power button, which is nice and clicky, and the SIM tray. The top houses the headphone jack and a noise cancellation microphone. The left side contains the volume rocker that has the same nice clicky feel that the power button has. Finally, in the bottom of the phone is where you'll find the speaker, and there is only one, the USB port and microphone. The front is of course dominated by the screen, which I will be coming back to later. Over the display is a couple of sensors, the round earpiece speaker and the front-facing camera. Under the screen is a multicolor notification light mirroring the earpiece speaker, but it can be hard to spot when off. The soft touch matte black back is a fingerprint magnet though. Luckily it's also easy to clean, and with just a quick wipe with a shirt it's again pretty. While it may be a magnet to fingerprint, it seems to absolutely repel scratches, or at least hide them well, as even after 3 months of use I have to look closely to see any scratches on the back. The 5 within the name is not only a reference to the number of iterations on the Nexus phone line, but it's also the size of the screen. The Nexus 5 is issued with a 4.5 inch, close enough I guess, True HD IPS display, which with a 920 and 1080 resolution gives the phone a pixel density of around 445 ppi. This results in a very sharp image with no pixels inside, and the screen is also very bright and has some decent viewing angles. The viewing angles are in one way great, since you can see what is on the screen as long as you can actually see the screen. But it's only average when it comes to colors. The colors begin to come washed out as the angles get more and more to the side. It's not a big problem though, as I usually look at a mostly right angle on the screen, and here the color reproduction seems pretty accurate. The screen is made with Gorilla Glass 3, which seems to keep the scratches at bay pretty good. After 3 months of use I have no discernible scratches on my screen. I do take care of my phones, but I do not baby them. LG and Google has chosen to go with a Qualcomm Snapdragon chip again. This time around it's the Snapdragon 800 quad core running at 2.26 GHz. This chip secures good performance across the board but still delivers great battery performance, as it has been shown to be great at reducing battery usage when the device is in sleep mode. It is however in competition with the phone's small size 23 mAh battery. With moderate use you should be able to get through a day though. In the beginning I had big problems getting through the day, but after some time it got better. I've seen this from other users and reviewers, and I'm not sure whether this is the result of an update or the battery kind of needed to be broken in. The introduction of the Snapdragon 800 chip has also introduced LTE to the Nexus line and is present in all its glory in the Nexus 5. This was one of the biggest complaints I've heard and myself had about the Nexus 4. In my country it's not exactly a big deal as the 3G networks are great and span almost the entire country, but the faster speeds are always welcome, especially as other manufacturers was introducing this technology to all their newest devices back then. The voice quality on the Nexus 5 is good, but the earpiece speaker and the microphone performs well. The bottom speaker on the other hand is not always as great. I'm a bit torn on this subject because I've been running around thinking that the speaker quality was really bad. When I first got the phone, I tried it out a couple of times for voice call and it was basically useless for this purpose. It was impossible for me to understand everything the caller said because of the bad quality of audio. Since the quality is great with the earpiece, I assumed the problem must be with the bottom speaker. But when writing this review, I thought I would give it another chance by playing some music. This time around the result was actually pretty decent, so I quickly fired up a Skype call and lo and behold the quality was decent and I could hear everything the person on the other end was saying. Maybe I was unlucky with the first calls I tried or something had been fixed in an update. Either way the speaker now performs decent and the only problem is the location in the bottom where one occasionally covers speaker and completely muffles the sound. With the new Nexus also comes a new Android version. This time around we got a new name, but it's still a 4-point update though. The new Android version is called KitKat and introduces a massive amount of change. Among these are reductions in requirements for handsets, and Android now only requires as little as 512 megabytes of RAM. That won't be a problem with the Nexus 5 as this device comes with 4 times that amount, namely 2 gigabytes. One of the biggest features of a Nexus device have always been and always will be the software. It's the entire reason for the existence of this device, to show off Google's version of an Android phone and what the Android OS can do. The new design is clean and app has been given a more central role. The background for the notification bar and soft buttons now have the ability to be transparent. And the new full screen immersive mode enables developers to use the whole screen by hiding the notification bar and soft buttons. These can be revealed again by edge swiping from the top or bottom. People normally call the Nexus devices pure Android, but that is not entirely true though. It's a very Google-centric Android. This in fact is the most Google Nexus device that have ever been made. Google now is more integrated in the OS than ever. Just to swipe to the side and you're in Google now. Also by saying OK Google on the home screen, you can instantly do a voice search. Scrolling through the home screens and the app drawer is fast and smooth without any stutter. Every game or app I've tried on the device runs perfectly, so it's safe to say that this device is a powerhouse. I do have a couple of issues with the OS though. The Hangouts app have separate threads for all your conversation with the same person. I would love for the app to show me all my conversations in the same screen. Also, the auto brightness is just too bright for me. It doesn't go down low enough to be comfortably used in an all dark environment. The camera on the Nexus device has never been a success story, and this one is no different. While the camera includes optical image stabilization, which LG brought over from the LG G2, the performance is still average at best. The pixel count has been reduced from 13 megapixels to 8 megapixels from the G2, and the sensor size has been reduced as well. All in all, this is a completely different camera module, and Google and LG has made the decision to put this model in to save production cost. The OIS however gives the phone some good performance in low light. At first the camera app was painfully slow and almost useless as a quick picture camera. But after an update the speed increased and it's now useful to use. The only redeeming feature of the camera is the video quality and the microphone, which is very good as you can see and hear in this segment. As mentioned, you should be able to get a full day out of the phone, but if you are a power user it might be difficult at times. It seems that about 3 hours of screen on time is the number that I have been getting out of it. The problem here is the size of the battery. 2300 mAh is not a big battery, especially for a flagship device. Furthermore, the phone is very thin, so it could easily be made thicker to fit a bigger battery. The Nexus line has always been a line of devices that mostly attracted the attention from tech enthusiasts and gadget geeks. But since the low price of the Nexus 4, the line has gotten noticed by more mainstream consumers. The line is nonetheless still a developer-focused line designed to show off the best of the software. This might be why the device has such an understated design. Well, is the Nexus 5 able to take on the flagship of other OEMs? The short answer is yes. The Nexus 5 performs well and is smooth as any other flagship. There is, however, a but. The software experience on the Nexus 5 is great and very Google-centric, which is also great if you use Google services. But a less tech-savvy consumer like my mom and dad would probably be better off with an OEM skin like TouchWiz from Samsung, Sense from HTC, or whatever LG calls their skin. There's a lot of help for this segment in these skins, which is not present in the Nexus 5 Google Android. All of the extra features, buttons and shortcuts can of course be added on the Nexus 5, but that does demand a certain level of user experience from the consumer. This is why the Nexus line will remain a line for the enthusiast. The Nexus 5 is a great device, period, but the real differentiator for this device is the price, at least in regions where Google Play Store sells devices. This device sells off contract for about half of what other flagship devices go for. With this in mind, the Nexus 5 is an amazing device. Therefore, my final verdict lands this on a 9 out of 10.